Coaches need coaches. I need coaches. The Olympians that win gold medals, they don't go there by themselves. If you're too close to it, how could you possibly see it?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coach Tribe podcast. Today, we have with us a VIP guest, a very special guest, one of my favorite creators, marketing experts in the space, great, cool people. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Travis Brown.
Ah,
Hello, Travis. How are
thank
you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me, Maria. I am one of your biggest fans. Like, if you sold Maria posters, I'd probably have one in my creator space here.
That, what can I say? This is even better. There is that mutual appreciation. I feel like that's the best. But I hope my intro made you feel like you're on the red carpet because you
I
honestly
do.
are.
I'm like literally just one random guy who loves marketing and loves helping people achieve their goals. And so when people introduce me in that capacity, it's like, would you write that on my LinkedIn page, please?
Honestly, I'm happy to shout it out loud, Travis, because you are amazing. And I want our audience to know that this is and will be an incredibly valuable episode. And I strongly recommend you stick till the end because Travis is the real deal. And today we're going to talk about how to get 1 million views in a few months, I would say, not even in a lifetime, because we're
Yeah.
all about that good, fast, consistent results.
Well, I think what we can guarantee people, if they're going to listen to this episode, that if they implement the things that we share on this episode, that they'll be able to get 10x the amount of views they're getting right now on their next video. So we're not going to be gatekeeping. We're going to give you the real deal. We're going to give you actionable things that you can do to actually go make that next video better. And you'll learn the method in which we teach people how to get 1 million views in 90 days.
I can totally vouch for it because I'm trying and I'm using what Travis will teach us today and it's working. So I'm really excited we get to share this with our audience, Travis. Now, I would say, what's the first thing that we should know when it comes to this idea of 1 million views or like viral, huge reach for our content? And before we get, I would really try to understand, why is that something we should strive to get? Why is that something that should be important for us as coaches, as creators?
So, I know that people are like, 1 million views, like it's a milestone, right? So it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter how many views you get now. What we're really looking for is non-follower reach. That's the name of the game here. If you can get outside of your follower base, you're now getting exposed to new people that the algorithm is referring them to based on their interest, meaning they probably have some form of interest in your topic, your niche, what you're talking about. So it's not just about going viral for the vanity's sake, just to have 1 million views. It's actually to bring in new people into your audience. So followers are awesome because they're community members, but they're also leads for your business. Now, let's say we're using Pensight for our business, right? We have everything we want in our link in bio, right? We have an entire business in that little link in bio. The more people that follow you and check out your account are more likely to click that link and see what you have to offer. So I want you to think of non-follower reach as basically free advertisement. I can pay to get 1 million views, or I can do it organically. A reel or a video is just an ad you don't pay for, right? So why don't we get as much reach and exposure as we can to our business, our vibe, our thing?
And I'm really, really happy that we started like this. Also, because I know one common mistake that some of the coaches do is they go straight into paid marketing, straight into those ads. But the truth is, Travis, that if it doesn't work organically, it most probably won't perform when it's paid. So learning how to get those results organically, it's gonna boost your ads results even more, because I would say the blueprint to
Hey, everybody,
success.
write that down. If it doesn't work organically, it's not going to work better if you spend money to run it on ads. That's a golden nugget of this episode. So what I want to teach you today is how you can use a 3-step method in order to I want you to get 10 times the amount of views on your next video. So if you stick with us and take out a piece of paper, the first thing you're going to write down is, if it doesn't work organically, throwing money at it isn't going to fix anything.
Now you made me very curious, Travis, because you were telling us about that 3-step approach. Can
Yeah.
we get straight into it? Can we get
Absolutely.
that liquid gold?
Yeah, let's not waste any time. Okay, so the 3-step method, the first step is simply research. And I would love to come up with another word for that because research sounds like this long, tedious process of digging through all this stuff. But really, you have access to all the most viral content in the world right now. And so, what you can do is a simple exercise. You can do this on TikTok, you can do this on YouTube, you can do this on Instagram. I'm going to recommend TikTok because they have a really great filtration process on how they find content for you, where Instagram is a little more tedious. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take out our phone. You could do this right now when you're listening. Take out TikTok and type in a phrase from your niche. So let's say you're in marketing, right? Maybe it's marketing tips. Maybe it's viral marketing tips. Maybe it has to do with sales, right? Whatever your niche is, type that in. And when you press search, it's going to start to show you all of the content in that realm. Now, if you filter it, and it's going to basically allow you to pick the most viewed videos in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, okay? What that's going to do is it's going to show you all the best performing content. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to start looking at that content. Don't go too deep into it, but start to pay attention to, first of all, the topics they're talking about, okay? If I was going to talk to you about typewriter today and my favorite typewriter, I might get some views. But if I'm talking about AI and say Chat GPT, I'm going to get 1,000 times more views because that's what people are interested in right now. So the key here is by doing this quick research that will take you less than 5 minutes, you're going to be able to navigate the topics and potentially the hooks, which is the first thing people say in the video, in your niche. Now, if you did a video tomorrow using that topic and maybe that hook and then illustrating your expertise, do you think you'd get more views than if you just woke up tomorrow with a blank piece of paper and started kind of making things up out of your head?
More views, more views, more views.
More views. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, this simple task is what newspapers do. It's what television stations do. It's what the TMZs do. They're talking about what's top of mind right now. And if you can harness that, you will always have a good idea that your content's going to do well. A lot of people come to me and they say, yeah, I put all this effort in this video and I put all these edits and I really love this video and I put it out and didn't get any views. And my first question is, well, what made you think it was going to do well? And it always comes back to, well, I just worked really hard on it, right? And that's great. But by knowing what's going on in the world first and what people are excited about, for instance, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, what did you hear about for 3 months? Twitter, right? So we would need to either tie that into our content strategy or talk about the things that people are talking about. And a perfect example is last week, Apple did their WWDC event, right? And there you probably saw a lot of content about the goggles. So what did I do? I made a piece of content in my own style about Apple and it did really well. It just hit 100K on TikTok, my first 100K on TikTok ever. Now, this puts you top of mind. So I really want you to take this in. If you're talking about what other people are talking about, the world is talking about, your video is going to have a higher probability of success.
The Code Tribe podcast is powered by Pensight. I want to take this opportunity to tell you more about Pensight and how much value it can provide you and your coaching business.
Pensight is an all-in-one platform for coaches and educators that enables you to quickly and easily build a highly credible page and sell your knowledge with one-to-one sessions, group coaching, courses, Q&As, digital products, and bundles. Payments, scheduling, video calling, client communications, and everything else is taken care of.
All it takes is 5 minutes to set up and it's free. It's the smartest way to kickstart your coaching business. Sign up to Pensight today at pensight.com.
Did you notice what I didn't talk about? I didn't talk about hashtags or trending audios or transitions or filters. I didn't talk about any of that.
Best time to post.
Which is where a lot of people get stuck.
And I want to thank you so much, Travis, that we started like this, because I feel like this is one of the biggest lessons that we can learn, and I'm learning from you as well. And it's this idea that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do everything from scratch. And first of all, this idea of emulating success. Getting that recipe that works and doing it in your own way, but starting from something that works. So that's step number one. And that I would say also this idea of tapping into these things that are viral at the moment, events, people, things that are viral for weeks in our feed. If you can find a way to link that to what you're doing, that's another great strategy. So I Absolutely love that. Now, this is just one of my curiosities. It's not even how does this viral topics thing works for the algorithm? Like, do they detect? I know this is very like technical, but I'm very curious. Do they detect the word or keywords in the video in the caption, or like how do they know we're talking about that?
You know, the algorithm is the non-judgmental thing. It doesn't care about you. It's not punishing you. When you post a video, the algorithm scans the actual video using AI to see what words are coming up, maybe what images are coming up. They're going to scan through the captions. If you did use hashtags, they're going to look at those hashtags, and they're going to make a decision on who to refer you to. The algorithm is simply a referral engine. It wants to show you to as many people as possible. And when we give it the right contexts, and we're talking about something that a lot of people are talking about, the algorithm goes, great, I know a lot of people I could show this video to. Now, people make videos viral, not the algorithm. The algorithm simply presents it to someone, and they make the decision whether they're going to look at that content or not. So if a person views that content for a specific amount of time, if they comment on it, if they share it, if they save it, those are all indicators that the algorithm should continue to show that content. So if you think the algorithm is punishing you, actually, people are punishing you, because you might not be presenting the video in the right context when the algorithm shows it to people that they're interested in what you're talking about. So I'm not trying to put this back on the creator, but I think that first 3 seconds of your video is really a fertile time to capture someone's attention. The analogy I use is you're on stage in a theater, okay? And people are walking down the sidewalk in front of the theater. The big sign out front of the theater is what brings them in to decide if they want to watch the show. Your hook, the first thing you see or say in the video, is the sign outside the door.
I love that analogy. And just to make it clear, Travis, when you say go on TikTok, filter based on the most like in the last 3 months, let's say, should we try to emulate like the whole video or maybe just still the hook? Like, what are those components that we should take?
Actually, the next phase of our program, Reels Millionaire, is a refinement. And so when we start emulating, we can't just like expect that we see a video that says something and is a certain format and take that and then run with it. There are different formats. So let's talk about those. There's speaking to camera. There are skits, right? You're a master at skits. We love your skits. On-screen tutorials. There are pointing at lists. There's lots of different formats. Now, just like trending audio, if we use a trending audio, but we don't do the actual trend that's associated with it, we're not going to get the same result. So if a video has gone viral because somebody is doing an on-screen tutorial, the best practice would be that you do an on-screen tutorial. I'm not saying copy theirs, but you have to also look at the format that did well. So there's the attention grabbing, and then there's the format, which makes the video successful itself. So you do want to take that into consideration. Now, in the refinement period, what I recommend you do if you want to get more views is you're going to need to start testing different formats. So my instance, I tested a bunch of different formats until I came up with the one where I'm basically speaking to camera or telling a story. Those are my signature formats, okay? I tried other formats, skits, parody music, pointing at things, doing all those things, and those didn't perform. So in that refinement period, what you want to do is objectively look at what's happened, and you want to say, okay, this video did well. Why? Don't look at yourself. Don't look at your performance. Was it the format? Was it the hook? Was it the topic? And we want to figure out what's working so we can then go into the last phase, which is repetition. Now, before I go into repetition, I want to illustrate that if you're testing things, you can't just test something once and say, oh, that's a failure. You would need a couple different data points in order to make that decision. So if you're doing on-screen tutorials and you're not getting any views, and let's say you've done 3 to maybe 8 of them, you could say, okay, I don't think my audience is interested in this format, and I can drop that. And then you could look at what's happened and say, oh, when I talk to camera, I get more views. Like when they see my face, I get more views. Then I would want to go at your strategy and say, let's show your face. Let's talk to the camera. So we have to give them what they desire from us. We can't make whatever we want, but that's the curse of the creator, is that you have to have the discipline to continue to do what works. Now, for example, if you had a store and you had 5 products on the shelf, okay, and one of those products was selling out every time you stocked it and the rest didn't sell, would you continue to bring in new product of the product that wasn't selling? No, it's the same thing with your video content. You need to push what works, and you need to invest in and buy in more inventory of what's working for your store.
I really am so happy with these analogies. They make everything so, like, also it's easier to remember because it's suddenly visual. So
Yeah.
I should start using some of those analogies. Now, What I want to ask you, Travis, is how do you get people into this mindset of doing, to get them out of their mind that everything should work from day one, we should get the views, the likes? How do you get people into the doing, into the process rather than, specific one video, two videos? Like, how do you get into that creation mood, action?
Yeah. The first thing I've learned is that expectations will really kill you. I mean, expectations are a great way to just really be upset all the time. So if you can go into this process with zero expectations, yes, you might have worked really hard on this video and it might not have done anything. Now, the reason you're going to feel bad is not because you did a good job and worked on it. It's because your expectation was that it was going to do well. Now, we don't have control over the algorithm, but we can have control of how we present ourselves. So what I like to do is tell people, create in the beginning stages of your career with reckless abandon. Try things, see what you like, see what your audience likes, develop your skill set and your workflow without expectation. So the shelf life of a short form video is about 90 days. I've seen videos that I've posted go viral 3 months after the fact. And I think that's probably about the max, but you never know when a video is going to take off. So if you're expecting that day one number is some crazy thing, you're always going to be disappointed, because I'm seeing videos pick up day 2, 3, 4, and even 2 weeks later. So what you want to do is you want to go in with zero expectations. You want to have fun making your content. You want to go, I get to do this, right? I get to put out videos. And because I'm using the system of researching, I have a good idea that my videos should potentially do better than if I just make stuff up. Because virality actually comes from predictability and not creativity. Write that down. What does that mean? If I was going to make a comparison, if the algorithm is a referral engine, then I want people to be able to refer me to. So an example of this is, I would like to watch a documentary about the Great Pyramids. Where should I go? Most people would say Discovery Channel, right? Because Discovery Channel is the place that predictably puts out that kind of content, right? So somebody can refer me to it. Now, when you become predictable, most people think that means, oh, I just say the same thing over and over again. But it doesn't mean that. What it means is that people have a good idea of what you're going to give to them each day. Now, the way that we become predictable is once we've gone through our refinement period and we see what works and what doesn't work, we continually give them what works. Now, that could be the format. That could be the first thing you say in the video, right? I had a run where I did almost 90 days of the exact same hook every day, which was, here's a business idea, do something with it. Now, the reason that worked is because I could put any business idea behind it, whether that be a car wash or flipping things on Facebook. And so I found a signature format that people could expect something from me and they knew what they were going to get. This is key. You have to look back and see what worked. You have to look back and see what didn't work. And you have to go all in on the things that are working. Just like your store, that product that sells out every time, how much more can I buy of that? Because I just want my whole store to be filled up with the thing that people are actually buying. You want to do that with your account as well.
I am curious, what happens? Let's say I'm still in this period where I'm trying things out and suddenly like something grows. I have a video that's popping, but I still have in backlog other ideas, other videos that I want to publish. Is there anything I should adjust at that point?
Our number one rule in our program is, if something works, you want to do it again. And where most people go wrong is they batch a bunch of content and they're just like, this is the content, I don't care what happens. And if something works, that means that you've figured something out, right? Your refinement period testing potentially ends and you could do that again. So if I create a video where I'm like, here's a business idea, do something with it, and it goes mega viral, and then the next day I'm like, here's how you clean your car window, the people that come back the next day are going to be like, why did I follow this guy? I'm out of here, right? So if something works, do it again and do it again and do it again until it doesn't work. And that makes you have that predictability element. I'm not saying make the exact same video, but let's just say you're like a graphic designer and you do something around AI and it does really well. We'll do another video about a different angle of AI, right? Might be generative fill or might be creating images using DALL-E, but like clearly people are interested in that topic. And the worst possible thing you could do is to do something completely different the next day, because you lose that momentum. The algorithm's like, oh, all these people love this video. If you do it again, I'm going to show it more people, right? It's that mentality of being able to pivot. Now, I love having content in the archives, right? And if I have that for a rainy day, that's great, but I want to do whatever's going to help help me get the most referrals every single day. And that's the way, it's just a simple mindset of, well, that worked. Okay, why did it work? Okay, maybe it was the topic, maybe it was the format. How can I do that again? How can I capitalize on this? Just like an artist, a music artist, right? They're going to put out a hit song. What does the next song sound like? It sounds kind of like that first hit song because they want to give you more of what you want. Like Taylor Swift, I'm convinced she just writes the same song over and over again. No offense to the Swifties. She's great, but like there's not a lot of variation there. So she's giving you what you want over and over and over.
I think this idea of giving the audience what they want, doing what works is so important.
Social media used to be, look at what I'm doing. It really did. Like when I first started my Instagram account, you took pictures of what you were eating and where you were, and everybody saw every post. And now we're in this new world of like, well, what can you do for me? Right? Because people are using TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube as learning platforms. They're using it as how they find out new information, hacks, tips, tricks, laughter, education, all those places. That's where people are going for that. So, we now have the opportunity to give them what they want.
But how do you, Travis, stand out in a world filled with noise where the attention span is so quick? Everyone is just after that instant gratification, that scroll. Like, how do you stand up? What's the recipe? What's the secret? What do you do where everything is so crowded?
So I think that there's a few factors. One, you need to unapologetically be yourself. Okay. I see a lot of people that are, instead of emulating someone, they're trying to like not pretend they're them, but they're kind of like copying, and it's not true to them. And that comes through on the camera. I have a really weird high voice and I just maximize that. I'm really high energy, so I'm going to get in your face in the camera. That's who I am. And I'm unapologetically going to be that. Now, if you're dry and you're like more like, this is the worst pizza I've ever eaten, do that. Be that person. Like, be you. That's the first step. Because when you're unapologetically you, we can smell that out. We can smell out a faker and we can smell out the real you. And it's going to attract the person that's into you, right? Why would we want to put on this mask and pretend we're something that we're not to attract new people? Now, the second thing, after you're okay with being yourself, like I wear hoodies and hats because that's who I am. I don't wear suits. After that, we need to learn the skill set of concise communication or subtractive editing. So when I want to say something, I might say things that I just want to say, but they don't necessarily help the person on the other end get what they want. So we have to learn what we can remove from the conversation, because short form video starts with the word short, right? It's not YouTube videos. So we need to be concise. And it's a matter of just looking at what you've done and going, okay, if I remove that, does the video still make sense? Yes. Cut it. If I can remove this, like how fast can I get you in? And I think one of the things that really flipped my brain on this was we're used to winding up to the big thing, right? Like the story starts at the bottom and it grows and grows and grows and boom. If you think about it backwards, and if you just hit them over the head with the big thing and then unpack it, I think that's the move for short form video. It's like, you want to make $1 million? I'm going to show you exactly how right now, right? Like, okay, hit them over the head with it. Not like tell this story that builds up to the fact that you know how to make $1 million. It's this learning curve of looking at your content, not about you, but about the communication. Here's an example. If I go to YouTube and my toilet's clogged, it's overflowing right now, and I'm like, I need to unclog this toilet. I type in how to unclog a toilet and I'm going to get results. And those results are going to be a video that's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and 20 minutes. Which one am I going to click on?
Short one.
Exactly, because I need to unclog this toilet right now. Why would I spend 20 minutes watching a video that somebody can tell me the same answer in 3 minutes? I think the same thing applies with short form content. It's people want instant gratification, and our thumbs just like this automatic, it's got its own little brain in there. It's just like, it just flips automatically. Sometimes you don't even realize it. And so we really need to break their scrolling session, and we really need to create that context about the thing that people are talking about and then deliver that content. I'm as guilty as the next person of leaving things in my videos. My videos are actually a lot longer than most people's are because I feel confident about it and I'm willing to lose the views and the watch time to share a specific message. But there are times that I realize this is way too long. Like I will write a script and I'll read it out loud with a stopwatch. And this will give me a good idea of how long this video is going to be. And then I can go, oh, this is way too long. I need to go, what can I cut out? And it's just a process of learning how to be a subtractive communicator.
Thank you, Travis, for this, because I have this issue where I do tend to like talk more and say more than I should. But now it feels good when I manage to subtract something. It's not like a waste mindset. Oh, but I spend time on it and I'm a attached to it. No, it's about detaching yourself from that. And now I'm actually like happy when I get the part out and another part out, and I only keep the core and the best of the best. Again, I want to say it's a process. Like, I think
It
that's
is.
important to always remind ourselves that it's a process.
I mean, when you learn to ride a bike, you don't just get on a bike and start cruising around doing papa wheelies, right? You first have to like navigate the balance, and then that's a big thing. And then you have to learn how to like pedal and balance, and then you have to learn how to stop, and then you have to learn how to navigate the bumps and things like that, right? It's a process to get there. And just like anything else, it's a process doing this. And I always appreciate people like yourself that are so open to the process, because when you come out on the other side, you're able to communicate in written, video, audio, right? Like you're able to communicate in a very high level way. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus tip here. And if you are going to accept my challenge to potentially be more concise, here's the opportunity. If you are concise in your short form content, it gives you a bigger opportunity, which is then to go into your stories and to give more context. So all the things that you want to say that you might not be able to say in that short form piece of content. And I'm also going to share the video in the next story so you can see what I'm talking about. Now we have almost a strategy from removing things from the actual content to be able to share that with our best followers, people that like our stories. So it doesn't have to go to waste, but we are living in a world of instant gratification, and we are living in a world of attention. And if you can master the fact that some things can be removed from your video and it's okay, then I think you'll be way further along than you were today.
And Travis, just before we move to step number 3, I want to ask you just one more question about instant gratification, because it is all about that. It's all about that dopamine hit. It's all about that, like, stop the scroll. And I want to ask, what are some things that we can do there? Like, okay, be concise is one thing, hook is another thing. What else? What can we do to grab that attention to that viewers stop the scroll?
Based on how many videos people consume, a really great strategy is to either use motion or show them something they didn't expect. And your brain goes, what am I looking at here? And you're like more invested. So if you can figure out a way to show something different in the first 3 seconds than they've been seeing over and over and over again, they're more likely to stop and stare. Right? And that could be something fun. That could be something crazy. That could be a different angle of you. Like maybe you're looking up, instead of just right at the camera. You have to figure out creative ways to make your videos sort of have a differentiator. Okay. And the other way is movement. So the most videos that I stop on have some form of movement. Now that could be you moving into the camera, just physically moving your body in and out. And so now it's like I'm drawing you in. So if I lean in, and that's one of my favorite moves, is like the first thing I say, I'm going to lean in like we're sitting at a table together in a cafe and it's loud and I need to tell you this thing, right? It's going to draw you in and make you feel more connected. Use your hands. Your hands are the best instruments you can use to create movement on the screen. If you're just sitting there like you're being held captive, today I'm going to tell you the 5 ways that you cannot be a captive, right? Like no one wants to see that. You need to bring a little energy to the game. And those are 2 things that I think you could implement right away that will get more people to at least stop. Now, I'll be honest, once they stop, we do need to deliver the goods. So we do need to have a good idea of what we want to say. I do see a lot of people kind of winging it, and that's fine. There's a winging it kind of content, but I would actually challenge all you guys to actually just bullet out some ideas so you know what you're going to say, and I think you'll get a better result.
Got it. Now, Travis, I'm very curious. What is step 3?
Well, step 3 is repeat, looking back at what's working and doing more of it. If it works, do it again. Now, there's some accounts out there that are a perfect example. There's a gentleman named Jeffrey who goes by the handle You Can Outdoors, okay? And this guy is probably 50, 60 years old, and he has like almost 1 million people following him on every platform. And the reason for this is because at some point in his career, he did a video where he's walking in the woods and you see this side of his face, and he's just walking and he says, friendly reminder. And then he drops this epic mindset tip. Okay. And so once that worked, he literally just does that video. If you go to any of his accounts, every video starts exactly the same. He's in the woods. It's the left side of his face. He's walking and he says, friendly reminder. So he has created this scenario where every single day I know exactly what he's going to do. I can go back. I know what I'm going to get. He's not shocking me with like twerking and doing some dances and stuff. He just gives me the thing that we all love him for. Now, I'm not saying you have to just do one thing for the rest of your life, but predictability creates massive accounts. So the next time you're looking at content, and maybe it's someone you already follow, go look at how many followers they have and look at how consistent they are or predictable they are. There is a direct connection there. I guarantee the biggest people you've ever seen that have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, they pretty much do something similar. So I felt that moment there where you're like, oh, but that's not really what I want to do. Okay, so listen, I know people are thinking right now, well, first it feels limiting because you're like, oh, well, I have all these other things I want to do, and I understand that. It's actually a gift. If you had to wake up every day and only do one format, your content planning gets easier, the editing gets easier, the ideas come easier because you only have one thing. It'd be like being a chef where you're known for making this great peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know the exact ingredients you need, you make the same thing, you perfect this peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? And it's all you have to make. People are just lined up outside of the door, just like our store. They just want the one product. Now, that might last for a season and then you can change into other things, or maybe you're putting out content, different content on different platforms or in your stories. But if you do want to get that massive energy and referability, you will have to embrace the fact that virality comes from predictability.
I think, again, this is such an important lesson because I see myself, other creators, like being all over the place. But you're right, like the big creators, they have maybe few formats. What works, they replicate. Now, is there like a number, let's say when we talk about reels, is it just maybe one type of reel that we should do, 2 formats, 3 formats? Is there like a limit there?
I say it's fair to stick to like 1 to 3, right? You're a perfect example where I see you do these awesome skits and I love them. And I think people love them. And I see you talk to the camera and people love that. And I see you also have some really aesthetically pleasing listicles. And I think those are your 3 signature formats. I think it's a matter of, is this format working? If it's working, then great. Then that could be a signature format. That's really up to you. Now, your account is your account. I think where people kind of get mixed up is that they have to wake up every day with some kind of like brand new idea, reinvent the wheel, when really all they need to do right now is go scroll back through their feed and go, what's my top video? What's the topic? What did I do in the video?
And sometimes actually the paradox is that by having some sort of limits, it's expensive, because when you have more clarity and like those boundaries actually give you more freedom to create in that space rather than having your mind all over the place. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
When I still use it sometimes, but here's a business idea, do something with it. It literally opened me up to be able to talk about any business, but to contextualize it the same way each time. Every one of my videos is similar but different, but the context was something that people were like, oh, cool, I can come back tomorrow and see what he's going to give me today. And that's how you blow up an account, okay? Now, you don't want to go viral for falling down the stairs. You don't want to use your viral moment for something silly, like spilling cranberry juice all over yourself and then you're cranberry girl for the rest of your life. You do want to use it for your knowledge and your expertise. We're your coaches, right? We want you to go viral for your thing. We're not talking about something silly. We're talking about you in some way sharing the value and the impact that you have to give to the world.
Now, Travis, I know we're getting close to the end of the episode, and I just want to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Because, you work with so many coaches, creators. We work with some great people out there. And obviously, everything you said makes sense. But what are the biggest mistakes you see people doing when it comes to this process, to this system, and how can they avoid that?
I think the biggest problem I see is people cherry picking information from all around. Okay. So a lot of times in coaching, and you coaches probably know this, you'll be teaching your method, but your student will come to you and say, yeah, but I saw this video from this other guy and he said to do this. So my answer for that, first of all, is always, well, why aren't you working with him? Which is, that sets the tone. But if you just go around looking at content and you have one person saying, use 30 hashtags, and you have this person saying, only use trending audio, what you're doing is you're hack chasing. And those are all just little things that are part of the process, but they're not the thing that's going to help you go long term. And if you just start cherry picking what you want to hear from all these different people and putting it together, there is a wild chance you might develop your own strategy that works. The proof in the pudding is, you don't have to follow me and take my advice, but whoever you do, follow it all the way through, because they typically will probably have a method for you that isn't based off of one tip. It's going to be based off of some things that compound. So, oh, well, this guy says I only have to do 3-second videos. That's what I want to do, so I'm going to listen to that. But this guy says to do this, and your testing gets all muddled with all the different things. You're not really actually getting any real data back from testing. Pick somebody, see their program all the way through, or see their advice all the way through before you start taking in other advice.
Now, I want to know, where can people find you? Why should they follow you? How can you help our listeners?
All right, so the two places that you can find me are on Instagram, because that's my favorite platform, at Travis Brown. It's pretty easy to find. You'll see my face. I look like this. Right now, I'm in another testing period where I'm testing different styles of content. For the most part, I can go viral every couple months by using the process that I just shared with you: research, refinement, repeat. Okay. And alternatively, if you'd like to get a 5-minute masterclass about the entire process we use, you can go to reelsmillionaire.com. Okay, it's a free 5-minute masterclass. And if it's something that you want to pursue, if you'd like to work with someone like me and have me checking in on you once a week to move the levers that are going to make you go viral, you can book a call. It's no obligation. It will be a 1 million views roadmap for your account, and that's up to you. But I guarantee you that if you just researched viral ideas in your niche, you tested some formats against it, you will get more views. And then please, when something goes off, do it again. It doesn't have to be hard. It's actually way more simple than people make it out to be. And everybody, in my opinion, can go viral and deserves to be seen for their expertise. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm guessing you're a coach. You deserve to get out in front of those non-followers. Remember, non-follower reach, new leads. That's all we want.
All I can say is that sometimes we have to rely on other people to help us get to where we want.
Yeah.
And I can vouch that Travis can totally help you with that social media growth, getting in those reels, getting in those views. And I really encourage you to follow him, to check out Reels Millionaire, that 5-minute masterclass, book that call with him, because it is truly life-changing. I'm working with Travis, been working with him, and he is gold, and there is so much he can do to really level up your game. So
yeah, coaches need coaches. I need coaches. You know, the Olympians that win gold medals, they don't go there by themselves. If you're too close to it, how could you possibly see it? So I welcome all and any people to come check out that free masterclass. And Maria, thank you so much for being somebody with so much energy and personality, but then of course having little old me on your amazing podcast.
Thank you so much, Travis, for showing up here, for sharing with us this valuable tips, this system. It's been really a pleasure and honor. And I will drop the links of your Instagram, of Reels Millionaire, so you can find it in the notes of the podcast. And what can I say? Let's all rock it. Go follow Travis, and see you all for the next episode of the Coach Tribe podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
We'll be releasing every Wednesday, so make sure to
Subscribe
and rate us 5 stars where you're listening to this show to give others a chance to discover it too.